What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the beautiful St. Vitus basement, and today we have a repeat offender on Heavy New York. We are here with Toothgrinder.
What's going on, man?
How are you?
Yeah, it's great to have you here. We returned with Justin, and this time we got Willis for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been over a year since the release of Phantom Amour about now.
Yep.
Or, do you have like a conclusion on the overall record cycle and everything?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely gotten us a lot of opportunities we never thought we were going to have. It got us a little bit of a different fan base than what Nocturnal got, and I think it just broadened our horizons. Actually, I enjoy playing live a lot more. Not to say that I didn't enjoy playing live, but it's just like it's different, and the songs are more like melodic and emotional, so it's just so much more fun.
Agreed.
And you can put so much like emotion into everything on stage.
Yeah, I feel like these songs are very feel good. So when I play them, obviously that's what happens. And like he was saying, you know, the drum perspective, if I'm not grooving and moving, it doesn't sound right. And so these songs really do that to me. They make me move all around. It's cool. It feels good to play them, like he was saying.
And it definitely sounds good live, I can tell you that. But and you also just recently released your cover of The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. Great cover. Was there a specific reason why you chose that song to cover? Was there a specific meaning to the song to you?
Yeah, actually, I think it was we had it like written down on some of the blogs or something that put out this the song, but it was pretty much during the recording of like Phantom Amour. I was listening to a lot of like southern rock and stuff, like a lot of Tom Petty, a lot of Fleetwood Mac, and just, you know, Allman Brothers, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, stuff like that, just because I really like storytelling and song. So I always kind of like find myself listening to a lot of that kind of music. But there was a particular moment during the recording process where I took a break because we live in New Jersey and we recorded in Maryland. So sometimes on the weekends and stuff, we'd be able to like drive home and do our own thing. So one weekend, I took a drive out to the Virginia, through like the Shenandoah Valley, and then through this drive through the mountains called Skyline Drive. And once I got through the Skyline Drive, I ended up in a town called Luray, Virginia. And I went to a bar just because I was trying to clear my head, and it was something I wanted to do because we were in Bethesda, and that was fairly close to Virginia. And in there, I was listening to Fleetwood Mac, The Chain, and while I was doing that, I started writing the lyrics to Jubilee, the acoustic song on Phantom Amour. So when I came back, recorded Jubilee, and then, you know, down the road when we decided we wanted to do a cover, I was like, why don't we do a cover of something and kind of like pay homage to the record? And, you know, in my head, it was either like a Tom Petty song or a Fleetwood Mac song. And we decided to do Fleetwood Mac, The Chain, because that's what was playing when I was writing the lyrics to Jubilee.
That's a really cool story. So you didn't like, so technically you had like the song mastered during the making of Phantom Amour, but you released it later, kind of.
Well, I don't. It definitely wasn't decided we were gonna do a cover while we were making Phantom Amour. It was just a song I played a lot to myself. You know, when we're doing drives on tour, we'd play it a lot, and it just seemed right at the time when we decided we were going to do a cover, which I think we decided to actually do that not too long ago, maybe like 6 months ago. And we were just like, we wanted to put something out. The reason for the cover is we wanted to put something out to keep people engaged with us before we go back into the studio and record a new album, just to give them something, be like, we're still here, we're doing something.
Don't forget.
Have some fun. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it was fun. It really
was.
We recorded it in like 3 or 4 days, and it was just a little weekend trip down to Maryland to record it with Taylor again, and that was it.
Yeah, it was cool because I've obviously heard of Fleetwood Mac before, but that song I didn't really know too much about. And once he said like, oh, check this song out, first listen through, I remember like looking at him and be like, dude, this song is awesome. Like, this is gonna be perfect. And I think with everyone's vocals and just how we did it, because we were pretty respectful to the song.
Yes.
But we turned it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, you know, we put the Toothgrinder edge on it a touch, and it was really, really fun to do. I kind of hope we do more. That
I
was like
know.
really fun. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm the same way. Like now
Yeah.
I have like this itch to just like do covers.
Yeah, now it's just like, well, I was just gonna start a bar band at home.
Lamb of God put out a covers album. Devil Driver put out a covers album.
Between the Bird and Me.
Yep.
So you, in a way, you kind of just answered the next question, because to me a cover song goes one of two ways. You either completely reinvent it and totally put your own spin on it, or you kind of leave some integrity that people know it's the original song. Like Disturbed did that with Sound of Silence. Bad Wolves did it with Zombie.
Yeah.
But then, Devil Driver with their latest cover selection, they just totally reinvented it. So you guys clearly had like the perfect mix, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, the way the song is with like those kind of like southern western harmonies in the vocals and stuff, it's like you wanted to keep that in there. You didn't want to go
the cool
too crazy.
part, yeah.
And for us, I know every time we talk about doing a cover, like years ago when we were kind of just still a local band, we covered Money by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And we just played it as is.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's cool for us to play songs as close as we can to the original version, because it's something different for us. I mean, we'll
Agreed.
obviously put a little bit of like
Yeah.
grit on it, but like
It's-
trying to keep its integrity is fun for us
It
because
is
it's completely
fun.
different.
Yeah, it is. It's that was the coolest part about the chain when he picked the chain too, because like at first I couldn't picture our band doing it, and then once I heard it, I was like, well, of course we pulled it off. Like that makes perfect sense. But it was such a cool, out there idea, especially like there's a girl singer in that band and we don't have a girl singer, like, and like you were saying, just that Western twang, like. I don't know. It just was such a cool idea to do, and I'm so happy we did it.
Yeah, I love it. You mentioned like there's a girl singer, but you know what?
Yeah.
Hey, Lacuna Coil covered "Enjoy the Silence"
doubt,
and
yeah.
REM, so
Totally.
it's totally cool.
Yeah.
Now, I believe I asked this last time you and I spoke, Justin, but I think now is even a better time to ask it, because Toothgrinder, the first time I saw you guys was with Periphery.
Yes.
Then it was with Between the Buried and Me.
Mhm.
Then most recently with Bullet for My Valentine.
Probably all at Irving Plaza, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
at Irving Plaza. This is
Yeah.
actually the first time I'm not seeing you guys there, so
Yeah.
I feel like something's going to be missing tonight.
It's gonna be louder.
No, you know what's going to be missing? The barrier.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah,
exactly.
But you also just did a tour with Bullet for My Valentine, and most recently with All That Remains. Very different styles. Do you maybe notice like a different audience, or maybe like put your heavier songs on the set list depending on who you tour with?
Oh, definitely. I think that's the coolest part from the Nocturnal Masquerade jump to the Phantom Amour jump is now touring with Between the Buried and Me. Cool, throw some little older things that go from here to here, a little more schizophrenic, crazy stuff, and then touring with All That Remains, Bullet. Bring out the hits, bring out the sing-alongs and stuff like that. And I feel like we've given ourselves the opportunity to do all that, to play the major festivals, and do stuff like that, because we're writing songs that can go to left field, to right field, right up the center, whatever. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when we wrote Nocturnal Masquerade and even our EP, Schizophrenic Jubilee, because I think our first tour with Periphery, we only had an EP out.
Yeah.
It
It didn't even
think
come
so.
out until like the 2 weeks into tour.
It's true,
Remember that?
yes, yeah.
We didn't even have them.
So, a lot of our beginning tours, like our big tours, were finally like getting out there and doing cool shit. Was with a lot of like prog bands, and now since Phantom Amour, and I'd say towards the tail end of Nocturnal, like we've been touring with a lot more like metalcore, borderline hard rock bands.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a difference between the two crowds. I'd say the prog fans are there for a specific purpose, a little more judgy.
Yeah.
You don't take that
Yeah,
the
come
wrong way.
Don't have enough strings.
But
like that.
but no, but it's fine. It is what it is. But these crowds with like the Bullet, Trivium, All That Remains, Killswitch Engage, like it's so much. They're so much fun to play to because like they're just a lot of them are there just to have fun and they
Oh,
don't give
yeah.
a shit who they're seeing.
Yeah.
Like
It's more
you
the
just-
experience,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
cool.
It's-
It's a
it's
lot.
great.
It's cool and it's like. Sometimes I felt when we were on tour with bands like Between the Buried and Me, just because they're so unbelievably talented, and I know that their fans are so unbelievably talented because most of the fans, Between fans, are musicians.
Yeah.
It's like you got to be on your A game. You're very nervous. Like you're a little less loose. But then when you're touring with these bands that are just out there and it's almost to have fun in a sense, you kind of fall into that vibe a week or 2 weeks into the tour, and you're just relaxed, and you're like, we're just gonna go out there and have some fun and try to fucking kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, going back to All That Remains, one time they were doing a tour with Death Clock, Machine Head, and the Black Dahlia Murder, and then like right after that tour was over, they did a show with 3 Days Grace, Hinder, and Fozzy. So I think you guys really kind of fell into that category where people who really are into some heavier stuff could appreciate you guys, but maybe you could be somebody's like, just for lack of better words, gateway sort of band into heavier material.
Yeah, or the heaviest band they listen to is Toothgrinder, and it's like they love, exactly, Seether or Hinder or something like that, or like we love rock bands too. That's the coolest part. Like, and I think the next record will be obviously a step in a bunch of different directions, but I'm sure more along the rock side of things. I don't know. I keep harping on it feels good to play that kind of music, so it's just. I don't know. You got to do what feels good, I guess, right?
Well, definitely. One reason why I thought, went from listening to Nocturnal Masquerade, like I thought because that had like, and this is just my perception of it, but I saw some mathy influence there, very experimental, and I thought maybe coming from the same region as bands such as Dillinger Escape Plan or A Life Once Lost, that maybe that like had sort of an influence on you guys.
Our biggest influence from the beginning was Between the Buried and Me, A Life Once Lost, Dillinger Escape Plan. Meshuggah, a lot of like the raw acts of like New Jersey, like Folly, and like a lot like even like hardcore punk and stuff. So it's like
Bouncing Souls,
Locust, Daughters, stuff like that, like just kind of like spastic crazy stuff. And then like I don't know what it is about us, but it's always seemed to be every couple of years we try to do something a little bit different. And like we say that we've been a band a little bit longer than we've been touring, so a lot of the music we've put out no one's ever even heard of before, but we've been doing that for a while. Like we've just been like, all right, let's try something different. And that's what we've always done. And it hurts us and it helps us. Like it helps us because like we get to tour with so many different bands now that we have the opportunity to. But like I think the next album, in my mind, is we're really going to try to find our sound, because I think a lot of the criticism that we get from not really fans, but I guess maybe industry people, is that we don't have a sound yet. And I think the next album is going to be like a sound-defining record. I think you're going to really find out what Toothgrinder is.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to make like a direct follow-up to Phantom Amour, or because you mentioned that you're finding your sound in it, or like, is it going to be a sound that you were incorporating before, or is it going to be something that you never really tried?
I think it's just going to be a combination of everything we've ever done.
Yep, as per usual with every album. It's just, everything is in art, I guess, in general. Everything is a progression, and you're constantly learning and growing, and I think that we have a very open mind about that, and I think that's what we want out of the band, is for everyone to be surprised of like, oh my God, they did an acoustic song? Like, what? That's crazy. Or like Snow, for example, on Phantom Amour is like electronic, super vibey. I can guarantee no one saw that coming. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's take what we learned and what we already know, and let's just keep pushing the envelope. And I mean, we listened to some demos on the way here, and they sound nothing like anything that we wrote on any album. So it's like, cool, just keep lining them up, and we're just going to keep trying different stuff all the time.
Yeah, like we wrote a demo the other day that had just like this super like, I don't want to use the word sludgy because people are going to think about it.
You guys are taking the I hate God route.
No, but sludgy in a different sense than everybody else is thinking. But it had like this very like sludgy riff that almost reminded you of like a Deftones Meshuggah riff, but it had more of like a more melodic vibe to it. So you're gonna even hear stuff like that. But at the same time, you might hear another song like Let It Ride. So
yeah,
it's just trying to work out the kinks and trying to develop a sound and make it seamless throughout the record.
Well, to me, there's really only two types of bands in the world. There are bands like a Cannibal Corpse or a Dying Fetus or a Hatebreed, where they have a formula that works very well for them. Totally. So if the machine isn't broken, why fix it?
Right.
But then there's some other bands like Dillinger Escape Plan, or even All That Remains, that like to maybe make a really heavy song and then make a very melodic song and then throw in a ballad in there and then throw in a deathcore song in there. I feel like you guys definitely have an element of experimentation behind your music.
Absolutely. I mean, I've grown up listening to so much different types of music, and like
Same.
so much emotionally charged music, from like the very extreme angry side of things to the soft, like sad kind of thing. So it's like trying to incorporate that is what I like to do, because there's nothing better than like the sickest breakdown with like the most guttural fucking vocals, just like you feel like your throat's ripping out. But at the same time, then there's nothing better than like singing at the top of your lungs about something you're like sad about or whatever.
You miss
it's
or
like
something.
it's crazy. Like those two things are like they're sick.
It's the Meshuggah and the Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah.
I want to be right in the middle.
Yeah, it's true.
You guys definitely are. Please
Quote
pat
me on that. Yeah.
patent that quote. You need to patent that quote.
It's recording, right?
Yep,
We're
it's
good.
recorded.
Mail that to me.
Yep. I'll
Sugar for Cutie.
I'll send you a bill.
That Sugar for Cutie. That is.
Oh my god.
Sugar for cutie.
Sugar for Cutie.
That's actually. Oh my
We're
god.
getting good
All
stuff
right,
here.
I want.
A new band.
We're
is
on
starting.
royalties for
That's
that.
a genre, man. That's not even a band. That's a full genre.
Yeah, like emo gen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emotion. Emotion.
Wow.
You need emojis with black hair in front of the face.
Yeah.
This might be my last interview because I just want to start a band.
Yeah, right. That's it. I'm playing drums.
Yeah. Deal. Let's
Deal.
do it. And that leads me to my final question, actually, because Toothgrinder, what I've noticed is that even though we just talked about for like the past like 10 minutes on how experimental music it is, the vibe and the vocals are beautiful, having really heavy and melodic sides. And in the drums, I've noticed there is a groove and a rhythm that I find really unique, that is like very essential behind the music. Is there ever something that always does come first in writing music? Like, is there a vocal concept that determines the outcome of the music? Do you provide like a rhythm for the band that the rest of the band kind of...
It really depends.
It depends. It's
Depends on the song.
always different, but once you start putting those things in, other things move. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, I could totally have a rhythm in mind, but when he's like, well, that's cool, but like, this is the vocal I came up with. It's like, oh, well, forget about this. Let's put that there. And like, that can be some other stuff, or yeah, it's something obviously has to come first, whether it be a riff, but then everything moves and shapes and figures itself out into the song. So it's always different. We can't sit down and be like, all right, wrote that new riff, here you go. You know, it's just like, nope. Like sometimes I'll think of a word. Like I thought of a phrase the other day, and I was sitting on my couch when we got home from tour, and I wrote a riff, which is the demo that turned into the thing the other day. And it was just something kind of sad, and it just meant something to me. And so like a riff just came out, and like sometimes it just happens that way, you know, or he has this full lyric page and he just hears one of our demos and it's like, boom, that's it, you know? So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I can't really speak for you, but I don't know. It's
Pretty spot
always
on.
different. Yeah, it's always different. And I think that's also the exciting part is it's brand new all the time. You're always discovering, you're always adventuring in your mind and everyone else's mind, and it's cool.
You're not like a guitar-driven band or a drum-driven band.
Not in the slightest bit.
Do you need to hear music in order to come up with like a full set of lyrics, or has there ever been a time where like
it depends. Like most recently for this record, I have about 5 or 6 choruses in mind. No lyrics, but just the melody. Like, 'cause I'll be at work a lot and like I'll just be humming stuff, and sometimes something will really stick, and I'll just record it in my phone and keep it there. And then I've been talking to our guitar player John Newell, and be like, look, I got like 5 or 6 hooks that I possibly want to use. Like, so I'll like talk to him, and you know, when I sing it to him, he might like write like a rhythm guitar behind it. But like in the past, like usually like I'll get like a song or something that's just, you know, rhythm guitar with some drums and some bass. And like my favorite thing to do, I find so much pleasure in it, and it's so much fun, is to be in the practice room all by myself. They give me like some licks or something or a beat, and I'll just sit there with a microphone, press record, and just freestyle over it. And no lyrics in mind, no melody in mind. It's just like those first 1, 2, first, second, and third takes, like before I even know what the song's about, see what comes out. Sometimes I get some of my best stuff that way, just because it's like so subconscious, and it's so like the first thing
It's
that
what
comes
your
to
heart
mind when
felt,
you hear
yeah.
something. Because like when you overthink it, you can overthink it once you get like a layer down, and 90% of the stuff I freestyle out might be all garbage, but if you get like 10% that's like spot on, like I never would have thought of that part if I sat down and methodically thought out my lyrics and my melody. That's something that comes out when you're not even thinking.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of songwriters out there and a lot of people who are writing vocals for songs, I think that's like the number one thing you got to do is you got to freestyle over like a blank slate, because you're going to come up with stuff that you never even thought you could, because the subconscious mind's so powerful in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
If you let it run wild,
Yeah.
man, it'll go crazy.
You could tell if you listen to enough music what's organic and what is kind of like
what was thought out
cut in
for
there,
10 days, in the studio.
And usually the organic stuff sounds way better.
Mhm.
not to say that thinking stuff through is like too
No,
robotic.
but that's the fine tuning
You can
at
do
the
it
end.
after, yeah, you can do it after.
You can
all
be
the
like,
other
that
stuff.
part was sick, but like those last two lines, those aren't really in time. It would actually sound better if you spread it out and placed it right here where it lines up with the drum hits, and you're like, oh yeah, but like it's still something I came up with when I was flowing through the fucking the groove.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. It's
you.
always great seeing you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I missed a Toothgrinder show since the New York City show.
That's
so
awesome.
So
Hell yeah.
you got to make now at your merch booth like sandwich cards. See us play 10
just
times. you
Punch
get-
it, yeah.
But obviously, you're finishing this tour right now at Sky Harbor. Is there a time frame we could be expecting the new record to be coming out?
Who knows? Who knows?
Soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, soon.
It's
Soon for Tool could be a couple of years too, so you never know.
oh God, let's not even go there. Let's not even go.
At one of the festivals,
Don't do that.
yeah,
please.
and not to derail this conversation, but one of the festivals, I think it was Rock on the Range where Tool played.
Yeah, it was the Loudwire. The Loudwire.
Yeah, we
tent.
wrote on a calendar. Everyone who they interviewed that day wrote a day on the calendar where they thought the Tool record was going to come out. So I'm pretty excited. Ours was November something.
November 22nd.
Yeah, that's right. So
Of next year.
yeah, of next year. Yeah.
That's our guess. I think we like win something if we win.
Yeah.
I forget what it is.
Hopefully the album.
I know. Free tickets.
No, the album that would come after that.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly.
Nobody will. I think I think 10,000 Days was actually like a premonition for how long it would take.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, I was 11 when the last Tool album came out, and I just turned 25.
Hell yeah.
So if that makes you feel old.
That'll be
Yeah,
awesome.
we're old.
Yeah.
I remember I was working at this place called the Circus Drive-In, and it was like a little restaurant, and we would just blast that 10,000 Days record all day. I think I was 16.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
didn't even listen to Tool. I'm pretty new to them, so it's.
Am I totally a kid if I told you I discovered them through Guitar Hero?
No.
Nah.
Which is cool that you say that, because I feel like with the bands, like we're starting to tour with All That Remains. I'm not like a video game guy, but a lot of people discovered them from that game. So you know what? I don't care how you discover anything. I think it's awesome that that's a thing, and it brought people to the show, and people, 10 years later are still listening to that band because of that. That meant a lot to them, and I think that's great. I don't care how you find out about music or art. I'm glad people are doing it and holding on to that, and it means something to them, So I think it's
Absolutely.
cool. I think it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, always great to see you guys. Thank you so much for your
Yes,
time.
thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you.
we are here with Toothgrinder. Pick up a Phantom Amour if you haven't already, and check out their cover of Fleetwood Mac's A Chain. New Toothgrinder coming soon. Let's hope it's not going to be as long as the new Tool album.
And we'll see.
It's definitely be way shittier.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's for sure.
their words, not mine. We'll see you next time in Heavy New York,
honest.
everybody.